Hi everyone, this is Professor Anil Joshi. Today I am going to talk about the difference between IRR, that is internal rate of return, and MIRR, that is modified internal rate of return. Now in case of IRR as well as MIRR, students understand the formula, how to calculate that, but what's the logic behind the calculation, or what is the relevance of this IRR versus MIRR? That they many times do not understand. Just for the sake of rote learning the formula, they try to understand the formula. So today I am going to explain the difference between IRR and MIRR and what's the logical difference between the two and how do we calculate that. So let me straight go to the Excel file. So here I have taken one example. Year 0, that is my, as on today, investment, let us say it is 50,000 rupees. And from year 1 to year 5, assuming that the life of the project is 5 years, my returns are going to be, the net cash inflows are going to be 15,000 rupees each. Let us assume that the cost of capital is 10%. So with that 10% cost of capital, your NPV is coming to 6,862. Now I am not going into the details of NPV. I am assuming you know how to calculate NPV because the topic of this session is IRR versus MIRR. But in short, how this 6,862 is calculated? You are discounting all these values at the rate of 10%, and that is how you get the NPV. Now the NPV is 6,862. That itself means that the IRR of this project is higher than the cost of capital, right? In Excel, you get the ready-made formula for IRR. So how do you do that? How do you calculate the IRR based on the Excel formula? You say equal to IRR and then you give the entire range, that is right from the investment value, which is negative because it is cash outflow, and then right up to the last net cash inflow. So you get the IRR of 15.24%, and as we discussed, it is obviously higher than the cost of capital. What does it mean? That means if tomorrow this cost of capital becomes equal to 15.24%, my NPV will become 0. Correct? That is what is IRR. So if my cost of capital is 10% and my internal rate of return is 15.24%, that means my cash flows in the project are internally growing at 15.24%. Obviously it is good. Now what this IRR assumes is that, see, we are getting 15,000 at the end of year 1, we are getting 15,000 at the end of year 2, etc., etc. Now for all these net cash flows, what this IRR logic assumes is that the cash flows which are getting generated in this project obviously get reinvested in the project, and they get reinvested in the project giving the returns equal to 15.24%. So whatever cash flow we are getting for at the end of year 1, 15,000, whatever is the present value of that, that present value, when it is reinvested in the project, it will give the returns equal to 15.24% for year 1. Same thing for year 5. At the end of year 5, we are getting 15,000 rupees. Whatever is the present value of that 15,000, right, which is whatever that amount is. So that 15,000, the present value of 15,000, when it gets reinvested in the project for 5 years, you get 15,000 rupees. Why? Or how do you get 15,000 rupees? By assuming that it will give you the returns equal to 15.24%. Now that is one flaw of this IRR logic, because as the years pass, what happens is the competition increases in the market, and as the competition increases in the market, it puts pressure on the selling price of the product, and when it puts pressure on the selling price of the product, many times the selling price has to be reduced to cope up with the competition, and when the selling price has to be reduced, very unlikely you will be getting the returns equal to 15.24%, at least for the further years. But IRR assumes that no matter what the life of the project is, for every year you are going to get the returns equal to 15.24%. That is the IRR, right? So it is basically an audacious assumption. It is an aggressive assumption that is made in this IRR logic. And that is why in order to overcome this aggressive assumption, MIRR has come into picture, which is modified internal rate of return. So this modified internal rate of return says that the cash flow which gets reinvested in the project will give you the returns equal to not IRR but equal to the cost of capital, which is obviously the conservative assumption. So how do we calculate this MIRR? Obviously in Excel you will get the formula, the amount for the percentage for MIRR also. But that is not what I want to explain to you. I want to explain to you how you actually calculate MIRR. So what you do is, you calculate the future value of this 15,000. So 15,000 at the end of year 1 will be equal to how much amount at the end of year 5, because the life of the project is 5 years. So this 15,000, when you reinvest in this project, you are going to get returns for next 4 years. So 15,000 when it is reinvested in the project at 10%, how much will be the future value at the end of year 5? What will you do? You will have to do the compounding. So 15,000 multiplied by 1.104 times, because 10% is your return. That's the assumption in MIRR. Similarly, this 15,000 which you are getting at the end of year 2, for how many years you will get the returns? Next 3 years. So this 15,000 will be equivalent to how much amount at the end of year 5? What will you do? 15,000 you will multiply by 1.10 3 times. Similarly, this you will multiply by 2 times. This you will multiply by 1 time. Why 1 time? Because this 15,000 is at the end of year 4. So only year 5 is left. So 15,000 is equivalent to 16,500 future value at the end of year 5, assuming the return of 10%. And then obviously last 15,000, the future value is 15,000 only, because this 15,000 is at the end of year 5 only. So while you are getting 75,000 in this project over a period of 7 years, over a period of 5 years, the future value of all these 15,000 each every year is equivalent to 91,577. How did you get 91,577? By assuming that these cash flows are giving you the returns in the project equal to 10% year over year. Right? So that is why I said it is the conservative assumption. So now what you do is, you are investing 50,000 and the future value is 91,577. So at what rate, if we discount this 91,577, it will be equal to 50,000, because ultimately this 50,000 is growing to 91,577. So at what rate it is growing? So what will you do? You will do the backward calculation. So you will calculate the present value of 91,577. Right? At whatever rate the present value is equal to 50,000, that is the rate at which this 50,000 is growing. So 50,000, which is the investment, is equal to 91,577. Now you are discounting, you are calculating the present value, because this 91,577 is the future value at the end of year 5. So 91,577 divided by 1 plus X%, which is what we want to find out, raised to power 5, because 5 times we will have to discount, because this is at the end of year 5. You are calculating the present value. So 50,000, now you take this 1 plus X percentage raised to 5 to the left hand side. So this divided, you are dividing it here. So when you take it to the right hand side, you will multiply, is equal to 91,577. So take this 50,000 to the right hand side. So this will be 1 plus X% raised to 5 is equal to 91,577 divided by 50,000. So 1 plus X%, it is raised to 5. So if you are dividing it 5 times, so then 1.83154 raised to 1 upon 5. Right? You are calculating the 1/5 root of 1.83154. So X percentage will be, this 1 will be to the right hand side. So that will become minus. So 1.12866 minus 1. So that will be 0.12866. So that is nothing but your 12.866%. So that is your modified internal rate of return. So when you discount 91,577 at the rate of 12.866% for 5 years, you will get the value of 50,000. Let us do a quick cross check. So 91,577 divided by 1 plus this 5 times. So that will be equal to your 50,000. So as you will notice, modified internal rate of return is conservative estimate of the returns as compared to IRR, because here you are assuming that this 15,000 will give you the returns at 10% only, not at 15.24%, which is what the assumption was in IRR. So that is why this is a kind of realistic estimate of the returns, and that is why this is more relied upon whenever you are doing the project evaluation. So I hope you have understood now the difference between MIRR as well as IRR and how it is calculated. Not only how it is calculated, what is the logic behind that formula. Don't mug up the formula. You should understand the logic. Why are you calculating MIRR in this particular manner? That you should understand. Right? So these are various project evaluation tools or techniques: NPV, IRR, MIRR, discounted payback period, profitability index, return on investment, so on and so forth. Now NPV, IRR, MIRR, these are all the techniques which are the techniques dependent on the cash flows of the project. Right? So here cash flows are important and not the profit amount. For return on investment, obviously the returns, that is the profit that is relevant. But this IRR, MIRR is based on the cash flows of the project. So I hope you have liked my video. If you like this video, if you have seen my other videos, and if you feel like subscribing to my channel, please do that. Please click on the bell icon so that you will get notified also whenever my new videos are uploaded. So thank you very much. Once again, this is Professor Anil Joshi. This IRR and MIRR topic will be extremely relevant in the subjects of financial management or project finance and project management. All right. Thank you so much.